Having noted the non-compliance of individuals, may they be in religious organizations, may they be in other social gatherings, as issued on the 20th of March, the NAC has directed the suspension of all church, mosques, funerals, and other social gatherings, and funerals are restricted to immediate family members only. Members of the Fourth Estate, you will remember that the experience of Italy started exactly the way we are behaving, where we have told people not to go into gathering, but some of them have decided, because of tithe and because of contributions in a church or because of contributions in other gatherings, that they must continue to do so. We all know what is happening in Italy today. Yesterday, 789 people lost their lives in 24 hours. There is nothing that we have done that is not going to give us exactly the same experience if we exhibit exactly the same behavior. It would be responsible of this government to allow this sort of behavior to continue, knowing very well what consequences they are. When you go into this kind of social gatherings, it is almost like committing suicide in the long run, or in the medium term. And the social media today is abuzz with individuals who are nauseated by the behavior that Kenyans are exhibiting, even as we know the circumstances that are ahead of us. Number one, all international flights are suspended effective Wednesday, the 25th at midnight. The only exception to this rule are cargo flights whose crew must observe strict guidelines. Those coming into the country between now and Wednesday, may they be Kenyans or foreigners, will undergo mandatory quarantine at a government-designated facility at their own expense. Countries wishing to evacuate their nationals must make their arrangements to do so within this period. Kenyans who are currently in foreign countries and will not have come back within the said period are advised to observe the guidelines issued in the respective countries wherever they are. As I mentioned on Friday last week, our actions continue to be guided by the trends that we have observed in other countries. Evidence from other countries indicates that the number of infected persons increases dramatically in the second week following confirmation of the first case. I did further indicate that these coming 2 weeks are extremely critical for this country as we seek to contain the outbreak. We remain focused on emphasizing high levels of hygiene and the maintaining of social distance as the most effective containment measures. This morning, when we were launching the CT scan center in the Jomo Kenyatta Hospital, you will recall, those of you who attended the conference center, the press conference, that throughout the discussions with doctors from many centers in China, the French doctors as well, the emphasis was on exactly the same thing: the levels of hygiene and social distancing. We are tracing 363 persons who had come into contact with these patients. So far, we have also an additional 3 people waiting processing at Bagathi Hospital. The rest have been processed and discharged. All the patients, except the one who is at the coast at Msambweni, are all in stable condition. The government is organizing to having the patients in Msambweni airlifted to Nairobi for further treatment.